In this video, I'm going to talk about creating text in GeoGebra. Now, in a lot of constructions, it's nice to have some text in the graphics view to describe what it is you're looking at. So there is a text function, so we could type something like text, and there's a lot of different options for this, but I've found that it's easier for me just to use the text tool from the toolbar. So that's what I'm going to do for the remainder of this video. If you go to this toolbar menu, there's a text tool right here. So we'll select that, and we can just click anywhere in the graphics view. It'll open up this dialog, and you can drag this dialog around the screen, and it has an input box here where we can start typing text. So we could say something like, this is some text. And if we want to see a preview of this, we can hit this advanced little button, and it'll drop down another portion of this dialog, and it'll show you a live preview of this text. So this is pretty nice to have open so you can see what it is we're getting. Now, up at the top, there's a few buttons here where we can italicize the text. We can make it serif instead of sans serif. And then an important one is we can turn this into a LaTeX formula. So notice that when we do this, our text looks kind of weird, and this is because it turned it into LaTeX text. And I'll cover this more in another video, but for now, we'll just leave this as normal text. And I'm going to hit OK, and it'll place this text in the graphics view. Now, by default, this text, we can move this text around, but the position of this text is relative to the coordinates of the graphics view. So right now we see this text is located at about 1, 5. If we pan around the graphics view, that text stays at the location 1, 5. Sometimes this is the behavior you want, and other times you want this text to be fixed relative to the graphics view. So if we click on this text, and then we open up the little style bar over here, there's a little thumb pin, or thumbtack, and this allows us to make this text absolute position on the screen. So we can basically lock this text to the graphics view, and now as we pan our graphics view around, that text stays fixed. Okay, so I'm going to take this text, and I'm going to unpin it so that it is relative to the coordinates, and then to change the coordinates of this text, we have some options. So if we right-click on the text, and we go to the object properties of the text, there's a tab called Position. And if you click on that, we see that we have the option to do absolute position on the screen, which is what I just showed you. But we also have an option to choose the starting point for this text. So for example, we could change this location to 1, 2. When I hit enter, we notice that it's going to go place it at 1, 2. So this is kind of nice. We can define text and we can change the location according to certain coordinates. So one thing we might do, as an example, I'm just going to place a point in the graphics view. We can drag this point A around. If we go back to our text and we go to its object properties, we can set its position to the point A. So if I hit A and I hit enter, now this text is going to move, and its position is always going to be relative to A. Notice now if we drag this text around a little bit, like we have a little bit of wiggle room, now we can continue dragging A, and that text is going to be relative to this point A. Okay, now one more example with this. I'm going to create a slider real quick. I'm going to do n equals slider. We'll go from 0 to 2 times pi with some small increments. And for the location of this text, we're going to change the position to cosine of n, comma sine of n. Now this is going to take the text and make it move in a circle as we vary n. So as n varies, we change the location so it's relative to n. It's going to move around in a circle.